Welcome back to another episode of Smoke Sessions. I don't even know what episode we're on anymore. We have the mischievous master of misinformation, Muhsin Yesilada, and I still don't have a name for myself, but we'll figure it out as we go along. Muhsin, how are we? It's a pleasure to see you as always.
I am feel.
You are not lucid. Calm yourself down.
I am feel.
No, you're not. You're not.
I've decided that on this podcast, I'm not going to speak. I'm just going to sit here in silence, and you just have to speak off my facial reactions.
Okay.
Let's try that for a bit. We're not going to do it for the whole session.
Okay.
But start talking.
How was your day this day? So. Okay. How was the meeting this afternoon that I interrupted? What about 1 Minute Smoke? How's that going? Yeah? What happened about that little talk about it getting cancelled? Waste of time. It's alright. Did you straighten it all out? Lovely stuff, mate. Look at Muhsin. Oh my. Your kid's milk gone. What's happened? So there are people that would watch this live stream. If this was a live stream. Do you think we should start live streaming? Yeah? You're really putting emphasis into these emotions. Okay. What is your favourite type of cat? Favourite type of dog? Who's your favourite nephew? I don't know what that is. Explain. Don't know who that is. Sorry, miss. Okay, snap out of it now. I can't do this for like more than 5 minutes.
You didn't like it?
You
didn't enjoy it?
No! Why do I want to talk to a mute?
That's how I feel when I speak to you, mate. Oh.
Shut your homework looking ass up.
Oh, God, are you enjoying your juice?
Your juice, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Although, it's lean tropical juice. I don't know why you wanted to take out the 30% sugar.
Yeah, I had that one as well. And I realised it was a mistake.
Yeah.
You should have had the normal carton.
But I didn't want to open the carton because it's brand new.
See, you're a scumbag. Can we just discuss how when Viraj is one of my best friends. So when Viraj comes to my house...
Oh, what? I'm one of your best friends? No.
Shut your mouth.
Muhsin has best friends.
I will attack you.
I am honoured. This is the first time he's ever said it. I'm gonna soak this in.
I will kill you.
Muhsin Yesilada said I'm his best friend. Did you hear that?
Street.
I'm taking all of your royalties from when you are a comedy king. Okay.
Dirty man. Right, so Viraj is one of my closest friends, right? Which means when Viraj comes to my house, he literally just goes into my kitchen and helps himself for things. Do your friends do the same thing? He literally rocks up and he just makes himself a coffee. He knows where everything is. I'm surprised you don't bake a cake while you're at it.
I don't know how to bake a cake, but usually there's cake in the fridge.
Viraj spends too much time in this house because he knows where the Hoover is. That's when you know you spend too much time at your mate's house, when you know when the Hoover is. I
know where the Hoover is, right? Because you don't have a shisha starter. So we use your freaking like £1,000 Hoover to start the shisha.
Do you even know where the Hoover is in your own house?
I do. We have 3.
This is way too far from your mouth, by the way.
It's okay. It's picking me up. Don't worry.
I have to produce the podcast as well. I have to do everything around here, guys.
Muhsin just sits there. You should see him between takes, man. You're actually like on an unbelievable scale lazy.
I'm not lazy. I'm just smart.
Yo, our last podcast proved that.
Yeah, I knew a lot of stuff on that podcast. This is going to come out in order, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so if you listen back to the last podcast, I basically knew everything in the world. What game should we play on this podcast?
I don't know. Don't we want to talk about the UFC fight? And Israel Adesanya.
What's Israel doing?
What do you mean what Israel?
Israel is fighting Robert Whittaker.
There we go.
And I hope he knocks him out again, although Robert Whittaker's bloody good. I think Israel is going to be in a war this time and he's going to win a close decision.
I still think Israel knocks him out.
I don't think so.
I think Israel knocks him out, or something happens during the fight.
Like what?
I don't know. Bone gets broken. They have to call it off mid-fight. I don't know. For some reason, just got a feeling. I think he's going in with rage. Bobby Knuckles. So Robert Whittaker is going in with some rage. The fact that he had to go around the block just to get back to Israel.
Well, he's saying he's calm. So Robert Whittaker in interviews, he's saying he's calmer for this one because he's learned his lesson.
Possibly.
He said one of the reasons he lost the last fight is because he let his ego get in the way. So I think it's going to be a lot more calculated in this one.
You think so?
I think it's going to be.
The last one was a war.
I think he's going to try and shoot for takedowns a lot more in this one.
Israel's good at takedowns.
Takedown defense.
Takedown defense.
Yeah, but I think he's going to attempt it more. He's going to mix it up. And bearing in mind, the goal of shooting for takedowns isn't necessarily just to take the person down. It also opens avenues for your striking. The reason Khabib is so effective with his striking is because people are so worried about getting taken down.
So they use a lot of mental capacity and energy to.
Well, they're thinking about it, which kind of takes their attention away from the fist and kicks that are flying towards them. And also, if you're worried about a takedown, then your hands are constantly doing this to block their shoulders, right, from drilling towards you. So if you're doing that constantly, then your guard is essentially down almost exclusively during the fight.
Okay, let's say, for purposes of this conversation, let's say Israel wins, right? What happens after that? Do you think he just sits in the middleweight division? Or do you think he goes up again, tries for light heavyweight and comes back down?
He will go back up.
You think so?
In terms of a marketing standpoint, he'll have no other choice to go back up.
Because he would have cleaned out the division.
Yeah,
again.
How many times are you going to lap people? He's run out of opponents there. Who's left?
I don't know. He's gone through the top 5, right?
He's going back round again. After this, he's probably going to have to fight Derek Brunson again, who he made easy work of the first time. But Derek Brunson's on a bit of a run. There's no one left for him there.
So he goes up to light heavyweight, fights. Who's light heavyweight champion? Yarmster.
Glover Teixeira's the champion.
Yeah.
But he's fighting a Polish dude called Gigi Podjecka.
Is this the guy with the...
Yeah.
Oh,
he's a scary dude.
Samurai guy, man.
And he's got good striking, so he'll give Adesanya...
He's a menace.
He will give Adesanya problems.
Adesanya just didn't look prepared for that light heavyweight fight.
I think it was in a smaller octagon, I believe, because it was in a smaller
Was it the
octagon.
UFC facility?
Yeah. And also...
Which is apparently an octagon that you like, though.
No, it's a smaller one, so why would he like that?
My bad, I must have misheard the vlog.
And Jan was covering the space very effectively. He did very well in that fight. I don't know, we'll have to see.
What do you think of the Ngannou fight last week?
No one saw that coming. No one thought that Ngannou was going to out-wrestle the guy. Yeah.
We just watched the highlights again. It blows the mind still.
People were editing Khabib's traditional headwear on Ngannou. And
Really?
Francis
I haven't seen those videos.
Magomedov.
Look, his wrestling got a lot better. Got significantly better. That came out of left field. No one saw that coming.
Well, everyone knew his wrestling had improved because his takedown defense was really good against Stipe in the second fight. And Chael Sonnen made a good point. You don't train takedown defense without any takedown offense. And Ngannou now trains out of Extreme Couture, which is Randy Couture's gym, which is
Does he?
based off... It's a wrestling gym, predominantly. Right. Basically, they have a lot of good wrestlers there. And he's clearly going to the lessons and listening because his takedown defense and his takedown offense was very good. And listen, that fight, when Cyril took him down in the 5th round, he could have won that fight. But for whatever reason, he tried to fall into a leg lock. And Ngannou was like, yeah, you don't have that. Sweep, top position again.
Oh, that last little bit was just crazy. It was back and forth, back and forth. And Ngannou just had complete control.
Yeah, Ngannou won that last round purely because he had about a minute more control time. Because the majority of the last round was on the ground. Mm-hmm. And Ngannou had probably about just around a minute of more control
and that
time.
Comes into, like, as an MMA casual, that comes into the scoring.
Yeah,
control time.
Of course, yeah. So he had a lot more control time on the ground. And that just made the slightest of differences. It was a very close fight. But to be honest, after the second round, I thought he was done for. Because everyone kind of thought that his route of winning would be to knock him out early. No one thought very few people thought he was going to win a decision.
Has Ngannou ever gone 5 rounds?
It's the first time he's won 5 rounds.
The first time he's won 5 rounds?
Yeah. He's gone 5 rounds twice and he lost both. Derek Lewis in a fight where no one threw a strike, basically. Do you remember that?
Yes, that was a weird fight.
That was an awful fight. And then Stipe in the first one where he got dominated for 5 rounds. Yeah, that's the first time he's won 5 rounds. And fair play to Ngannou, the evolution of the man. Like, this is a guy who escaped poverty with a fraction of a dream to become a boxer. Boxing wasn't a possibility, so he goes into MMA, becomes the champion of the world, despite having lost his first world title opportunity. And now he's taking on the UFC head on and winning.
What do you make of this? Because Dana didn't even show up to put the belt on him. Like, what kind of message does that send?
I think what Ngannou's doing is utilizing his leverage and the leverage he has over the UFC at the moment.
Do you think he'll leave?
He will leave, yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, he's happy to walk away. He will walk away. If they don't meet his demands, and the UFC are not going to, because Ngannou says it's not just about money, it's about contract freedom. Because UFC fighters are technically independent contractors.
Yes.
Right? They don't get health insurance. They're not technically employed by the UFC. But the way the contracts are set up, they're not allowed to fight for other organizations without the consent of the UFC.
Okay.
And Ngannou quite rightly points out, which a lot of people have pointed out, that's not right. That's wrong.
But you signed the contract. You signed on the dotted line that.
Well, it's a leverage move. If there's only one massive player in the game, then where else do you go to make a living? It's a monopoly.
Mm-hmm.
The UFC is...
But you've got to remember the UFC isn't marketed... No, sorry. The UFC is marketed as a fighting company league, right? But it's an entertainment company.
Yeah.
Which allows them to get through these loopholes, right?
Yeah.
Like the acts and stuff like that. You know, you've got these individuals that are contractors and they're not part of the company. You're outsourcing that work and blah, blah, blah. And that's the genius of the UFC business model. That's why it works so well. I don't think Ngannou will leave because it's like, what happens after that? Do you go to Bellator? Do you go to one championship and stuff like that? And then do you just get lost in all of that? And I mean, look, one championship's massive in the East, but nothing is like the UFC.
Ngannou's mentality is, if he walks away from his UFC contract and he gets one fight against a major boxer, past or present, he'll make more money in that one fight
than he's made the entire career.
Than he'll ever make staying another 2 years in the UFC.
Will he be able to box to the standard that the boxing community does? That like real boxers.
He's not beating Tyson Fury. He's not. No chance.
Will he beat Mike Tyson?
Mike Tyson's a 55-year-old man. Of course he will.
So what happens? It's not like you can't fight Tyson Fury, you lose. You can't fight AJ, you lose.
It's not about winning or losing though. It's about making money. Everyone knows it. When Conor McGregor...
But do you think Tyson Fury is going to take a match with Ngannou? Someone that he knows isn't going to box?
Yeah, because he'll make it's easy money.
How do we know? Does that fight appeal to you even? As a consumer of boxing content? No, but
people will watch it and I'll end up watching it as well. Because it will just be on. It will just be on, so I'll watch it. But is there any curiosity about what's going to happen? No. It's going to be very straightforward. Ngannou's going to get stopped.
So you think he'll go into the boxing foray and do all of that instead of going and fighting in some place like Bellator?
Why would he go to Bellator and earn even less money and still be tied to a contract? Almost a worse deal than the UFC for him.
So he's going to just set himself up one time, bam.
Yeah, he'll do like a freak event, right? And then job done. You know what's interesting, right? Ngannou's pushing so hard for a boxing match, but what got him through his last fight wasn't his boxing ability, it was his mixed martial arts ability. Everyone, listen, you'd be a fool to think Ngannou's going to beat Tyson Fury in a boxing match. It's just not going to happen, right? Ngannou's the best mixed martial artist at his weight, right? Tyson Fury's the best heavyweight in boxing at his weight. The world number one in badminton isn't going to beat Djokovic in a tennis match. And Djokovic isn't going to beat the world number one in badminton in a badminton match. It's as simple as that. There's nothing against those two guys. They're incredible, but they're just different sports. They're not even similar. We've just got it in our head that they're similar sports. They're
just
not.
Because you stand up and you throw punches, they're similar. They're not.
Tell me, in what... The only similarity, right, between those two sports is that you can use your fist in them. It's the only similarity. What else is similar? One's in a ring, the other's in an octagon.
Two similarities, one of which you stated. The second is the mindset going in, and that's it.
Yeah, but that's...
You're going in for a fight.
Fine, yeah.
And that's it. There is no other similarity.
No, but not everyone is going in for a fight.
You think?
Yeah, Floyd Mayweather didn't think he was going to a fight. He was going to a boxing match.
But what's the difference? You're still getting hit.
A boxing match. He wasn't going in there to trade punches with people. He was absolutely going in there to not get hit at all and to score points.
That's an acute observation. I like that.
Floyd Mayweather, towards the back end of his career, he wasn't trying to hurt his opponent. He didn't care about hurting his opponent.
He was trying to not get hit.
He was just trying to win the rounds. He took it round by round. Every round was an independent thing. When people talk about what it's like to fight Floyd Mayweather, Andre Berto talks about it. He says when you're fighting Floyd Mayweather, he's so in the moment. He's looking up at the clock. When he ties you up, you can hear him taking deep breaths on your shoulder because he's buying his time. He's looking at you in the other corner between rounds, assessing your body language. He's so present. He's not angry. What Floyd Mayweather did very well throughout his career, and what Conor used to do very well at the start of his career, is he used to make it seem like he was going to war in the eyes of the audience and his opponents. He would rile people up, make it look like he hated that person. Most of his opponents throughout his career, he was completely ambivalent towards.
Where did this word come from, ambivalent? Did you swallow a dictionary as well?
Ambivalent is used quite a lot in psychology. Anyway,
damn boy.
He was completely ambivalent towards his opponents. He didn't care about them. Didn't keep him up at night because he had a profound hatred for them. He just wanted to win. But he would call them names. He would poke fun at them.
Because that's part of getting in someone's head.
Someone in his social media team. So, for example, when he fought Ricky Hatton, he turned up to the outside the Man City ground, wearing a Man United kit. Because Ricky Hatton is a Man City fan.
Genius moves, big brain.
Clever.
Very clever.
Stuff like that.
Do you think you have that mentality when you get in a ring? Or a cage?
I don't know.
Would you get in, you get hit, and then rage just fills? You kind of got to be a poker player as well, really, at the same time. You've got to show that you're not hurt, even though you've just taken one wallop of a punch.
Yeah, but a lot of boxers do. There's a massive tell when a boxer gets hit and they're hurt. They normally do this. When a boxer nods their head saying that didn't hurt, it was excruciating.
Really?
Yeah, they're hurt. When a boxer does this, it's a common thing in boxing. Watch, whenever a boxer gets hit right and they go like that, they nod like, "No, you didn't hurt me." It's because they were hurt.
So that becomes just the reaction.
It's just a thing. It's just a thing that happened in boxing. Like when they go like that, nope. It's like, yeah, because you just got caught clean and it buzzed your bell a little bit.
What's it like getting buzzed?
How badly we're talking?
You get hit, but you can still get back up. You haven't gone down. You've been hit in the head though. What's it like?
Survival mode. You're just gonna do what you can to survive. Tie them up, lean on them, run away.
Does rage feel or not?
Yeah, but that's a bad idea.
And what's it like getting knocked out?
I've never been knocked out.
Oh, big man, listen.
Thank God. Jesus Christ.
Have you ever been down?
Yeah.
What's that like?
Uncomfortable, painful. Depends. Body shot. I got knocked down with a body shot once. That was way more painful. First time I ever got dropped was my brother. He left hooked me to the neck during sparring. And I'd never been punched in the neck before. We were kids. We were like 13. And he was 12. And he caught me with a left hook and he hit me on the neck.
Yeah.
And it just threw me off balance and I dropped. He was so happy.
Jesus. Did it like full force?
Yeah, it was full on sparring.
Gloves on or just fists?
Gloves.
Damn, boy.
Take us for fucking hell.
Animals, absolute animals. I've seen you box. You box like an animal. Oh man.
But yes, that's Ngannou has got the UFC by the ball bag right now, right? And when he leaves, it's going to be very embarrassing, and it's going to set hopefully a new precedent for fighters to speak out.
Do you want that precedent to be? Do we, as a consumer of the UFC's content, want that precedent to be set?
The fighters getting paid more and having more power isn't in the interest of the audience. The more power the fighters have, the less of these exciting fights that we're going to get. Mm-hmm. The reason the UFC can give us all these great fights is because the fighters don't really get a say. That's why in boxing, because the top athletes get paid a lot more, they're just like, screw you.
So, if Eddie Hearn is building this UFC model, aren't we going to get the same thing in boxing, where athletes are going to be paid, or boxers are going to be paid less?
Fighter pay in boxing is on the rise.
So how is the UFC? Can the UFC model work in boxing at all?
No, not anymore.
Doesn't work.
No,
There are
because
too many
there's
laws in
too many
place.
powerful organizing bodies now. So you have like 4 major organizing bodies, right? They're all way too powerful now. They're not going to give up that power, and those belts carry too much prestige in the minds of the fighters now. Where
There's like 1 billion of them though.
if someone tries to come create a unified league, most people, no one's gonna. The promoters, there's too many powerful promoters, players, networks that will put a stop to it. It's not going to happen.
Like the Super League in football.
Yeah, well, like the Super League.
Yeah, you know when all those big clubs wanted to create another league.
Oh, the European Super League.
Yeah, that's the
oh
one.
yeah, and it didn't
Like
happen.
that.
Yeah,
Like
it didn't
that.
happen. Yeah, it won't happen. It's too many big players.
When was the last time a new league just came out of left field? The Zone came out of left field.
That's not a league though.
True,
It's
but
a-
it was a massive
it's a
streaming
streaming
service that came out.
That
of
was
left
already
field.
very big in Asia.
Was it?
Yeah,
I thought
they
it was,
have the
I thought it was an
Premier.
American thing.
They have the Premier League rights in Japan.
Do they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do.
Mad.
Yeah, they're on the rights of the Premier League, and they're trying to get NBA rights.
Whoa.
They're in talks. They're in talks of buying BT Sport, or they were in talks of buying BT Sport. I don't know if that's
No
still
way.
happening. Yep.
Wow.
They have deep pockets, Viraj. Very deep pockets.
It'd be interesting to see what their financials look like.
Probably making massive losses, but
Yeah.
they don't care. Oh, Netflix had another stinker? Did you see that? Yeah. I told you. Did I not say this is going to happen to Netflix?
Yeah, of course. But that is partly because 2 things, I think. One is Disney Plus and the massive archive of content they have,
Yeah.
right? They're not going to allow platforms to have that straight away. They're going to sell that and use that to their benefit, right? So it's going to be another income. Secondly, Netflix has invested a super amount of money into brand new content, like Netflix own brand content. And those aren't going to pay dividends for at least the next 10 years. It's a disgusting amount how much they've invested. Like they're building, they're investing in places in the UK to build studios, sound rooms or whatever, soundball, whatever they're called, because Hollywood's too expensive. A lot of these guys are investing in the UK, just in outside of London. It's quite amazing.
And also companies like Amazon and Disney, they have.
But you can't expect the growth, like the stupid growth, 30% year on year, to be real.
Yeah.
At some point, the song just slows, right?
When they're not making any money.
Yes.
Yeah, and the problem in terms of competition that they're gonna have.
They're running in a 41 million loss, I think.
Well, Amazon and Disney, one, they have deeper pockets, and 2, they can.
But Netflix has market share.
They can offer their consumers a deeper portfolio of options in the package.
Amazon's an interesting one, right? Because they've got the Prime, they've got the servers, they've got all of that, right? So it comes under the Prime membership. So it's like we stack it on, and in this, you get all of that if you're a Prime member. Disney is it's culture. Every big film that you've watched has probably, in some way or form, been Disney, right? And they've got such deep pockets that they just buy stuff, right?
They own Discovery, they own Star, they own Marvel.
I mean, they bought flipping Star Wars.
Yeah.
Right? And that's a massive fan base of people. Those are boomers, and now you've got Gen Z with Boba Fett, right? So you look at it in that route, and it's like, okay, so Disney makes sense. We can give you so much more for $9.99 a month or £12 a month, right? Netflix has slowly been increasing their prices, and I think I read a news report that they're going to increase it even more in the next year. And I get it. Like, it makes sense. But at the same time, like, you've got these massive, like, 4 or 5 streaming giants, and that's it. There's only so much content that can be streamed, and you're not going to have 2 pieces of content, the same content, or it's not beneficial to have the same piece of content on 2 platforms at the same time.
And we do Disney's work for them, in the sense that we watch we watched films growing up from Disney, and then we show it to our kids.
Yeah.
No one asks us to do that, but we do it because it almost feels like a tradition.
Disney's vertically integrated.
Yeah.
They've got the oldest of the old that are living, and you've got every single new kid, every single baby. What film would you like to watch? Disney.
Yeah.
They know who it is. They know who Mickey Mouse is. They know all of these Moana and everything. Like, it's a way of printing money.
Moana's Disney as well, yeah?
I think Moana's Disney.
They're impressed. They don't mess around, do they?
They
They really don't mess
They,
around.
you don't play with Disney. I mean, Disney and Marvel.
They know damn well how to make a film that kids are gonna like.
Oh, they're so good.
They've got it down to a
They're
science.
so good. Toy Story, right?
Yeah.
Would you watch Toy Story again?
Yeah.
And how old are you? 25.
Me and the missus, we watched Shrek the other day.
Shrek's how old? Like 15 years old?
More than that.
There you go.
Yeah.
1,
20.
2, 3. That maybe they'll stick in a reboot in a couple of years' time.
Yeah.
Bam, there you go.
Don't care. You know what's funny when you watch Disney shows as an adult, you realize how many slide jokes there are.
Oh my
parents.
god.
Yeah.
When you
Like
watch
little sex references and stuff.
that you just don't get when you're a kid.
Yeah, yeah,
It's actually quite funny going back and watching them because you see them in a whole new light.
yeah.
And it's almost like they're leaving those Easter eggs because they know the parents are going to get them, but the kids aren't.
Mm.
And then you go back and watch it and you're like, I see.
Toy Story. You know what scene in Toy Story was satisfying as a kid?
Go on.
You know when that creep is cleaning Woody and he cleans the eyes and stuff and the
Yes.
shoe.
And it's like,
Oh, that's so satisfying.
it's the music on top of it.
It's like they're hypnotizing
The
kids. isn't it?
the sound design on that is insane.
It's masterful how they hypnotize those kids with scenes like that. Because I used to watch that
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
and he had the briefcase that had a
Yeah.
compartment for everything.
And it all pops open. And when the
So-
wood's varnished. And the
Knock it on.
boots are done, are painted. The new brown paint. Oh, it's brilliant.
If I
honestly.
put this on, will we get a content strike?
Nah, I don't think so.
Oh, what's it? Oh, what? What's happened to the connection?
Muhsin's internet connection has just died.
You talk to him while I fix this.
What films do you like? Let us know in the comments. What Disney films do you like? What Disney films did you like growing up? One of my favourite, Toy Story, Shrek. Finding Nemo was good. Although I've never watched Finding Nemo again. What else was good? Then I got into Marvel. Marvel was brilliant. I liked Hulk 1. Spider-Man is Sony. And the new ones are great. But Iron Man 1 will forever be one of my favourite films. Hands down. Point blank period.
I never got that into Iron Man.
You didn't get that into Iron Man. What is wrong with you?
Yeah, I wasn't a big Marvel fan growing up.
What were you? DC?
Neither. I didn't really care. My favourite film as a
Batman,
kid,
for me, was hands down. The trilogy is one
Really?
of my favourite set of films ever.
I prefer the Joker.
What, in Dark Knight Rises?
Just in general.
Just yeah, because you are one.
The Batman is an entitled, broken man.
Yeah, but so is the Joker.
No, the Joker's a good guy. The Joker's fighting for the little man.
By killing everyone.
This is playing up. Just when you want to show someone something. You know what? It's so typical, guys. As soon as you want to show someone a video on
Do you
your
pay
podcast,
for Disney Plus?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
How many do you pay for?
What do you mean?
Do you pay for Netflix, Disney?
Everyone pays for different things in this house.
Oh, okay.
So I bought Disney for the kids,
Yeah.
and sometimes I'll use it if there's good shows on there. But the kids mostly use Disney. I don't know who pays for the Netflix. I pay for the Prime. I pay the Wi-Fi. Basically, yeah, I pay.
I pay for everything.
Yeah. I pay the mortgage.
What is going on? This was working 20 seconds ago.
I know.
Muhsin,
Sorry about this, guys.
come on. We're supposed to
What
have
is
seamless service here. What's going
What's
on?
going on? Oh, this is perfect. No one wants to. Hang on.
This is ridiculous.
Let me get up on my phone.
Muhsin Yesilada, what is going on?
I'm sorry about this, man.
Yeah, I don't come here for technical difficulties. Yeah, I come here for a good conversation. And that's about it.
Toy Story, cleaning Woody.
It's
Okay.
the best. It is the best. When are we getting new podcasting mics?
What's that?
When are we getting new podcasting mics?
Whenever you want, mate.
All right, mate. I'll send you a link.
Okay, here we go.
Is the specimen ready for cleaning?
Oh, come on, man. Oh, this is so satisfying. Oh,
Ah.
forgot about that.
So, how long is this going to take? You can't rush.
I hated this guy.
It's horrible.
It's amazing how they know what's satisfying to the viewer. It's almost like they're showing us how much they know who we are.
Oh, I've never thought about it like that. How old is Toy Story?
Oh, look at that.
My favourite hat is always going to be when he does the shoes.
Oh, this is good. Oh. Man's got arthritis as well and he still does it.
And the fact that Woody doesn't flinch.
He's having the time of his life. What do you mean?
Proper pedicure and manicure. This bit. Oh. When he does
The
shoes.
lines as well.
He's for display only. You handle him too much, he's not gonna last. It's amazing. You're a genius. He's just like new.
Buzz Lightyear.
Buzz Lightyear is so cool, man.
Who was your favourite character? Buzz Lightyear or...
Buzz, I liked Buzz.
Was it always Buzz?
Yeah. I thought Woody gave him too hard of a time when he first
What, even
came
throughout
in.
the 3 films?
No, in the first film in particular. The jealousy really wound me up.
Of Woody and Buzz?
Yeah.
Or Buzz and Woody?
The jealousy that Woody had over Buzz really wound me up as a kid. I learned how to spell my first word because of Toy Story. You're just a toy. T-O-Y. Toy. That scene, I was like, oh, T-O-Y, toy.
No way.
And I went to my dad and I was like, Dad, if I can spell toy, can I get a toy? And he was like, yeah, go on. And I said, T-O-Y, toy. I was like, let's go Toys R Us, big man.
Played the game.
Yeah.
Outsmarted him. I like that
Yeah.
Muhsin.
Thank you.
From a young age, big brain.
Yeah. T-O-Y, toy. It's not flying, it's falling with style. I thought that was a cool line when I was a kid.
Buzz Lightyear was a... Did you like Finding Nemo?
Oh, look at this. Jordan Peterson's on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Again.
Yeah, and he's wearing a tuxedo for no reason.
Jordan Peterson, what do you think of him?
I think he gets a lot wrong, but I can understand why young men gravitate towards him. He gives a lot of good advice to young men. Some of his perceptions and ideas on social issues I don't agree with.
Why?
I just don't agree with him. I think he's off about things. I think sometimes he overstates the significance of some psychological findings, or misinterprets, not necessarily misinterprets them, but misrepresents them at times.
What is he as a in a career?
He's a clinical psychologist with
Oh.
a specialization on personality.
So isn't he well educated to speak on that compared to you?
I mean, just because he's more ahead of his career than me doesn't mean I can't disagree with him.
Oh, I don't doubt that.
Yeah. But I think at times he does very much overstate the significance of certain findings in research or misrepresents them. But I think he does that because he's a compelling speaker.
So you fall into that narrative, you fall into that trap.
I think sometimes people don't let the reality get in the way of a good story. And I think sometimes Jordan Peterson is victim of that himself. Do I think he's evil, like some people paint him out to be? No, I don't. I think he's probably changed a lot of young men's lives in particular.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't a fan of 12 Rules for Life.
I've never read them.
I think a lot of the advice he was giving him that were cultural truisms that were over-explained, which I found a bit boring to read and listen to.
But do you think that if you didn't study a degree in psychology, you would have a better interpretation of 12 Rules for Life?
Oh, I just don't like the way it was written.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, I think.
So you agree with the points, you just don't agree
Yeah,
with...
I agree with the points. I just don't like the writing style.
Oh, okay. So if it was
Yeah.
written in a different manner, you'd be all right.
Yeah, I think it needs to be more concise.
Okay.
When I was reading it, I was like, the point was made 10 minutes ago here. I get it. Do you know what I mean?
But then your writing style's like that anyway. It's clear, concise, to the point. Bam, 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 bam.
Yeah. I think the reason Jordan Peterson has found himself in the unfortunate position where he is regarded as a leading intellectual to alt-right individuals. I'm not saying if you like Jordan Peterson, you're alt-right.
Can you explain what alt-right is?
Alt-right is a loosely defined far-right movement that objects the agendas with the perceived agendas of the radical left,
Okay.
essentially, right? And by the way, I'm not saying if you like Jordan Peterson, you are alt-right, by no means. But Jordan Peterson has found himself in the unfortunate position to be the poster boy for the alt-right. Is that some of his own doing? Whatever has happened, the alt-right seem to identify with some of his
Thoughts,
and
stories.
ideas. And I think if Jordan Peterson takes exception to that, then he has a responsibility to reflect on why that may be the case.
Mm-hmm.
But by the way, in the same breath, I'm not saying I quite like Jordan Peterson. I think he stands for a lot of good.
I think Jordan Peterson does do a lot of good. I think he puts himself out there, and in a way that other clinical psychologists that don't,
Yeah.
right? And he's brave enough to speak on things that other people don't want to speak on. Like, he will talk openly about his depression, or he will talk about when he was
Or his
caught up in
political
drugs.
views.
Or his political views, right?
Or his views on transgenderism,
Mm-hmm.
or his views on
And he's a
COVID, for example.
very good speaker.
He's
I think
incredible speaker.
He's an incredible orator because of his ability to weave everything into a story. And you stick a classical motivating music, like not a lo-fi, but like Hans Zimmer soundtrack over Jordan Peterson speaking, it makes you think you can conquer the world. And there's something in it. There's something beautiful about the way he does it. I turn to Jordan Peterson for me not when I'm in the dark or when I'm in a deep spot. It's kind of like when I need a little pick-me-up to just remember and be present and just ground me for a moment.
Order and structure.
Yeah.
He talks a lot about order and structure, and I think to a lot of young men who don't have order and structure in their lives, Jordan Peterson is the voice they've been waiting for. And by the way,
I don't take what he says as gospel. Because some of the stuff is just like, this doesn't make sense.
That's the problem. I think there's now this weird kind of camp where you're either pro Jordan Peterson or you despise everything he's ever said.
It's like everything with anyone and everything. It's like,
you don't
take Joe Rogan, take Elon, take Jeff Bezos, whatever, blah, 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 blah. List goes on.
You don't have to agree with everything everyone says all the time.
You can take snippets.
Yeah. And you don't have to hate someone just because you disagree with them.
The fact he's having the debates and he's able to have the conversation and most of the time make a concise argument or make an argument for or against and look at both sides and have that discussion, I think is positive.
When you get to the level of fame and influence of Jordan Peterson, there's going to be bad influences you have on the world, and then there's going to be good influences you have on the world. And it's up to us to decide whether your influence is net good or net bad. And I would say it leans
for the individual.
Well, you can also make the case on whether it's net good or net bad for society as a whole.
But why am I making that decision for society?
Because,
to be perfectly honest,
if you want to hang on. I'm not saying that you're making the decision for society. It's your perception on whether it might be good for society.
My misunderstanding.
Right? So obviously you'd be a dictator if you got to decide what's good and bad for society all the time. And people can ask themselves, do you think he's net good or net bad for society? I would argue he's net good, because I think you can't argue that he has had a profound impact and probably saved a lot of young men's lives in a world where not enough people talk about men's mental health. It's not spoken about enough. And although some people argue that he is the intellectual father of the alt-right, and maybe he is, who knows? I think a lot of people who do fall into the alt-right or far-right category do have a lot of affinity for Jordan Peterson. But I don't think Jordan Peterson necessarily enjoys that. I think it's just a situation that he finds himself in.
And he just
goes
along with it.
Are you responsible for who identifies with your thoughts and opinions all the time? I'm not sure I would want to be deemed responsible for that. It's quite an unfortunate situation to be in. Because you can't control that. It would
feel to him maybe like he is not dictating, but giving people a path, controlling people's lives, and they're hanging on every single word of his. And that becomes a very precarious situation to be in.
Well, if it's an extreme example, but it's like if you found out that Bin Laden really enjoyed your YouTube content, you were like, why does Bin Laden like me? What am I doing that Bin Laden gets pleasure out of?
I get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying.
That's uncomfortable, and I don't know if Jordan Peterson feels uncomfortable with that. But there's also loads of people. Most of the people who like him are very decent human beings who probably don't care as much about the political angles of
They look more towards a psychological
the
angle.
psychological and the mental health angles of his points and his training as a clinical psychologist. Sometimes Jordan Peterson to a lot of men is like that stable father figure that a lot of men want,
Yeah,
or that uncle
I can see that.
who brings all you can turn to, and it feels like he's talking to you in your
He's
life.
he feels like a very wise old man.
Yeah, with clear anecdotes.
Yeah.
He's
That-
like a
that
Mr. Miyagi.
Yes,
Yeah.
cross generations. So you could be talking, he could be talking to someone that is 50 years old and talking to someone that's like 18,
Mm.
and the anecdotes that he uses in his speeches, in his talks, for somehow just transcend everyone.
Mhm.
Like transcends across generations and people and cultures, and it just makes sense sometimes,
Mhm.
and sometimes it doesn't. Right? Sometimes the words that are coming out of his mouth for you in that moment don't make sense, and then 6 months time, when
Mhm.
whatever you've gone through your little experience in life, you come back and you watch that same video, and you're able to take it in, you're able to consume that in a different way. Jordan Peterson's very good at just being there.
Mhm.
Always. And I like that about him. I like that. I really do. And I think he provides a good service to society. And going on talks with Rogan or going on talks with Friedman and
Yeah.
doing all of that stuff and, motivational speaking and things like that, I think it can be misconstrued by a lot of people, like you
Mhm.
said. But net, he does all right. Does pretty good for society.
Now, there's a whole host of things I disagree with him on. Like, for example, his views on the importance of diversity and inclusion, which he likens to hell. He espouses those words.
I haven't seen that.
I don't agree with him on his perceptions on COVID and public policies on COVID. I don't necessarily agree with him on his views on transgenderism and the impact that the transgender movement is having on society. But if
Just
I
a man's
agree,
thoughts.
I can't agree with everyone. There's going to be some people that I'm going to disagree with. And that's it. How long have we done?
42 minutes, 43 minutes.
My throat is killing me from talking, so
You've talked a lot today.
it's a lot today.
You've done well. It's been a very scientific, informational-based podcast, and I've just been prodding you for answers. It's been quite
I'm
fun.
what you call a neo-genius.
I don't know what that is, but maybe next time you ask me some
Yeah.
questions, okay?
Yeah.
We'll make this like a 50-50 podcast.
Absolutely not.
All right?
Okay. You can speak to Little Moo Moo next.
No, you can prod me for my thoughts and feelings on stuff. How are you, by the way? You doing all right?
I'm alright, mate.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good week, bad week?
Yeah, good week. I'm enjoying Cobra Kai.
Still.
I love Cobra Kai.
Euphoria for me.
Haven't seen that one. Good.
Very well produced.
You should watch Cobra Kai.
It's a bit of a messed up TV series, but I think it's hands down, in my personal opinion, one of the best produced TV shows I've ever watched.
What platform?
I'll send you a link.
Interesting.
It's HBO Max,
Ah.
which would be why you can't get it.
Did you like Karate Kid?
Did I like Karate Kid? Yeah,
Yeah.
we spoke about this. Everyone's saying watch Cobra Kai, watch Cobra Kai.
Watch it. You'll enjoy
Did
it.
you know, however, that YouTube started Cobra Kai? They started that kind of series, and then Netflix bought the rights to it, and then just completely
Yeah.
blew it up.
Interesting.
Imagine that YouTube gave up that YouTube originals.
It was a YouTube original,
I
was
think
it?
to begin with it was.
Oh, that's cool. Didn't know that.
Things you learn. What season is it on? It's season 4, right? We talked
Yeah.
about this. What
With more to
episode are you
come.
on?
I'm on season 3, episode 5.
Oh, so you haven't got to season 4 yet.
No.
Any good
Good stuff.
actors?
Yeah, it's good to see the old actors from the films come back as well in different portions. I don't want to give anything away to you, but it's really good.
Watch you for it. I think it will be a change of pace. I think it's something different from anything that I've watched from your standard TV show format.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll watch it.
Good lad.
Do you want to wrap this up?
On that note, it's time to end the show. do you want to
Like
say
and
goodbye to the
subscribe
audience?
to everything, you dirty human beings. And if you don't, I'll find out where you live because there's only like 40 of you who
So
listen to this.
we'll be getting Jordan Peterson on the podcast at some point in the future.
We will do.
Let us know what you'd like us to say to him, because Muhsin has a personal relationship with him now because he knows so much about him and consumes all of his content. He's like his biggest fan. We're on all streaming platforms, as per usual. And if we're not, let me know, let us know, and we'll be on there, right? I'll personally send an email to the CEO of whatever platform you decide for us to be on, and I'll get us on there, all right? In video format, audio format, clips, reels, YouTube's, blah, blah, blah. Have a lovely evening. And remember, subscribe to the Smoke Sesh session, whichever one it is.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.